Alright, welcome back everybody. My name is Dustin, and in this video, it's actually going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be more of an update video of what I've been doing in the background. If I didn't do stuff in the background, this engine would never get finished. So I'm always tinkering and trying to make it better in the background. So let's go over some of the changes that I did. A lot of these are just adding comments, so we can ignore those, and like just little changes, those are fine. So instead of it ever being 0, I want it to start at 4, just so we use the physics component. It does a calculation. If a radius or the area is 0, it can crash, and we don't want that. So I made sure that those start off as a non-zero value. And in the physics component, I ended up moving the rigid body type out of here, and I moved it into the Scion physics library that we created instead of having it right here in the physics component. And I've been putting off working on the physics component stuff for a while because there's a lot to it that we have to still go over. So I ended up just moving it, and I created something called the physicsutilities.h. Okay, so let's go check that out real quick. So if we go to down here, physics utilities. So I moved it here instead, and I just started giving it some comments of what it actually was. These are directly from the Box 2D documentation. And then I added in this filter category. So the filter category, these are the collision bits. So you would tell what filter category that you are, or the rigid body that you're currently creating is, okay? So I created these default types here. These will be the default types, and I also added in these user defined types. And we'll be able to change these in the editor, but however, in the background, it'll always be category 7, 8. Because these have a specific value, these are just bitwise operators, so we're just shifting it over, right? So you end up to the next bit over. So I made some helper functions for those as well. So we'll have a filter category to string, and we'll want to be able to get it, and then we'll be able to add custom ones in as well. And all that's going to do is check to see if there's any free user categories, as these categories here, and it's going to send that back and allow you to change the name based on the name that you passed in. And if there's none, or if you're sending in the same name or something like that, it'll populate this error string for us, okay? This here just returns the filter categories all in one, but it's also going to filter the filter categories to not return any of these categories here. Unless you've added a new one, it won't add those in, okay? So let's go to that right now. So the physics utilities here. So all I did was make some static maps in the CPP file, so we can easily grab what we need. So we have the string to rigid body type, and then we have the rigid body type to string, so you can go back and forth. And I did the same thing with the filter categories, so you can go string to filter category, so what string it is, and then you can have filter category to string, okay? And right here, if you're getting filter category, so you send in your filter category, it's checking to see if it has it. If it doesn't have it, it just returns an empty string. If it does have it, it returns the string at that category. And the same thing with if you pass in a string, it checks to see if that string exists in our static map above. And if it doesn't exist, it just returns there's no category, okay? And then the add one is a little bit different. So the first thing you're doing is you're checking to see if the string to filter categories contains the filter type that you're sending in, the new one. And if it does, that name already exists, so you're just going to populate the error and return false. And then here, I need to check to see if there's any free user categories left, and we name those with the category underscore. Let's shrink this down a bit. So we're checking the string to filter categories, and then here you have your auto pair, and then you want to check to see if the key starts with, because the key is a string, so you can use this starts with operator here, or the starts with function, and check to see if it has category, okay? So if it's equal to end, that means there's no filters left, and if we want to add a new one, we have to remove one that's already there. And I don't think I made the remove function yet, but we'll get to that. And then we're going to want to do the key change function that we created already in Scion utils. So if we go to Scion utils really fast, right here, I also added a little concept in here, so it maintains that it's a map type. So it has to be a map type in order to call these functions. So instead of just saying type name map, we use this concept instead that we created up here, and we were looking for the map type, all right? That's just another little change I made. And let's go back to physics utilities here, and we'll go down. The rigid body stuff is basically the same idea. Let's scroll up here. Okay, so right here, get filter category string map. So this is just a little helper function to help us when we're trying to list the available masks or the available filters that we want to use. Okay, so the filter category values. So what I'm doing here is I'm filtering my view based on if it starts with this. We don't want any of them that have category in it. So it's automatically filtering them out. And we're using the filter category to string. So we have the map of filter category and string first, and we just call this the filtered map. And we're creating this filtered map based on this filtered view that we created here. And you just send in your begin and end values and return the filtered map. Okay. Now, the reason why I started looking into this is because we had to fill out the physics side of the draw components utils. So if we go to this here, I started adding this in here. So it's get physics body description. Now this here is so when you're going to pick a static or kinematic or dynamic body type in your component utilities that you're trying when you're trying to select the values for the physics component, this is going to be a tooltip when you're hovering over it. It'll let you know what it is in the editor. So let's go down. I started adding this in as well. So IamGUI add tooltip or item tooltip. This is another little function that I made. It's basically just a wrapper. Actually, we'll check that out real fast and then we'll come back to this. So IamGUI utils. So this just shows the changes here. Probably better just to show in the project. So let's actually just open that up right now. All right, so we got a lot of stuff going on here. So our IamGUI utils here. So I added a few functions here. I added this item tooltip. And all this does is it takes in different arguments and it will format these arguments for you. So I begin the tooltip, I start a text unformatted, so you can basically just format whatever you want your tooltip to say in line, and then end tooltip there. And that's what it does. So if our item's hovered, it's going to begin our tooltip for us. You can probably add in some type of time here for how long, but I haven't done that yet. We'll change that later. And then I have this text formatted function that I made. It basically does the same thing here, but it just does the text unformatted, and then we handle the format here using FMT. Okay. Now I don't know why I put this end tooltip here. That could probably go. Might as well fix that now. Cool. So let's go into our draw component utils here. And I started adding in a lot of basically just cleaning up our components. So when we're drawing our components to the screen, I started cleaning it up, adding in some tooltips and stuff like that. So if we go here, yeah, this is all just cleaned up. Down. Yeah, so right here, color override. So when you're hovering over the color label, this will pop up as a tooltip, tell you what it's doing. Then the texture, this is the current active texture to be drawn. Stuff like that. I started adding these in. And the big change is actually the physics component, because I started filling that out. It has been left for a while because there's a lot to do with this physics component. I should probably break it down into multiple things, but this is what I kept. This is what we're going to keep it as. Okay. So basically, it's the same idea. So you have your inline label body type, then you're going to have a tooltip, and it gives you this idea. And then we're going to loop through the rigid body string map, and you get to select one. If you're highlighting over one, this is what I meant here. So it has the argument. It's basically just like our logger. We're going to put these curly brackets, and then you send in the description that we grabbed from above. And we did all this, and then we have our masks. So the collision mask bits, these are the categories that the shape would accept for a collision. So we added that in as well. And this is allowing you to pick the mask that you want, and you can apply the mask. You can have multiple masks. So let's run this. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I've made some other little changes as well, just changing some of the actual settings for the IamGUI settings. I think it looks a bit more cleaner now. And then pull this in here. So I also made the tile layers its own little window rather than having it as a child, and it docks automatically here. So it's its own window now instead of a child of the tile details. So here's the physics here. As you can see, I cleaned this up a little bit. I changed these are a bit more rounded and making it a bit more clear of what's going on. We have more of a border around all of the items. So I think it's more clear. And then if we go over so this one doesn't have the tooltips and the sprite because this is for the tile details. So if we actually just create an object real quick and we go to the object details, we can add in a component. And then we go here and we go to our sprite component. Okay, cool. So now you see we have our tooltips. So it's giving you a little tip. So yeah, the layer is the Z index in which you want to draw the sprite. And then this here, the start pos, this is the index positions where we want to start our UV calculations. It makes sense, right? And then we can add another component here and we can do our physics component. Okay, cool. So there's a bit more to a physics component. There's actually a lot to it. So you have your body type and it tells you here. And then when you go over top of it, it'll also give you a tooltip for each one that you're using. You can highlight, it gives it its own tooltip or comment of what it's for, right? So you have your static, zero mass, zero velocity, kinematic, and then you have your dynamic, okay? So since this is a object, we can actually change this. We'll give it a dynamic, and that's its body type now. So this one we can actually control, and it will be actually controlled by physics as well. Then we have our category type. This is the collision bits. The bodies will only use one usually, right? So what I would do, so you can just say it's the player. So now this is the category player. So other objects in the world that have the category mask as the player will block this, if that makes sense, okay? So a mask is the collision mask bit. This states the categories that this shape would accept collision from, okay? So the player will actually accept collisions from a lot of different things. So you can go, it will accept collisions from other players. It'll accept from enemies. It'll accept from items. It'll accept from the wall. It'll accept from the ground. And all we're doing is making a list of applied masks in here. So just a list of what the player has. Now I want to add, when I right click on this selector, I want to add it so I can remove one if I added it in accidentally rather than clearing all the masks. We can clear all the masks with this button here, and you can just start from there. And then we have the density. I still have to add in the group index. So the density of the object, friction, restitution, is it a box? So right now, so when I'm copying these over to the scene, so when I hit play on the scene, I copy my bodies in, it's going to copy in all the components. And let's actually open up the code real quick, okay? And if we go to the scene, I made changes here as well because we had to. We weren't handling physics yet. So now we go into, not physics component, we go into scene display. So here, we want to go to load. So when we're loading our scene, we actually want to grab all components with physics entities and loop through them. Why? Because we need to set a bunch of stuff here. Well, because we're not running the physics on the tile map editor, but we will be running it in the scene. So if it doesn't have a box collider or a circle collider, we have to leave because we're using those values to populate our physics box size or physics attributes radius. And this is used in the constructor for the physics component to actually create a box 2D body and all body depth, okay? So what we do here is we loop through all the physics entities, copying everything that we can, right? Setting the scale, position, and then we call the init function. And I still need to set the filters, mask, and the group index, but that's coming. And we have to send in our physics world. Now this is just a hard-coded value of the width and height of the window, but eventually that's going to change as well. So we need to initialize this when we go in. And this will actually do all the initialization for us. And we've gone over this when we were doing our physics, okay? Let's actually really quickly create a physics body in the world. So here, so if I hit the scene and I play, we're not going to have, so yeah, I want to get rid of this. So actually, you know what? We can just leave that for now. It's not hurting anything. So let's go back into our, we don't need the tile map editor either. So we have our physics, we have a dynamic. Let's give it a density of 100 and ignore all this. All I want to do is actually just see something fall. So what we can do here is go to show collision. So if you see, our body's up here somewhere, but we can't see it because it doesn't have a sprite and it doesn't have any box collider at the current moment. That's another thing we need to do later is create gizmos for moving it around in the world. So we know once it's selected here, we'll see our arrows, our X and Y arrows, and that's coming as well. Let's actually add in a box component here. And you see we have it now right here, 4x4. Let's make this 32x32 so it's just easier to see in general. Okay, so it has that. It has this dynamic. So if we press play right now, this should fall. Come here, and there it goes. It's affected by gravity, so that is working. So what we could do from there is actually go into our main Lua, and let's comment this stuff out. So we're just running the script. Let's go back in here, and we'll hit play, and it's not showing anything, right? So what we could do there is go back to our tile map editor and anywhere down here. So we should have a tile set now, and we can make our hill tiles. Let's grab this one actually, so we're not messing about. Go back into our tile details. We have to create a layer, and this can just be our platform. Cool. And we'll just add a box collider, and this is going to be 16 by 16. And now we go to physics. I believe we should actually make the physics for this one a lot more simple. And we'll go to static, give it a category type of the ground. And the mask, we can add the player, apply the mask, and that's good. We don't need to do any of that. It's not a sensor. So what we can do here, bring this in and just go back to this. Don't know why it didn't change there. And let's run it and see if this stops. If it doesn't stop, then it's a mask issue. However, we're not copying over our mask, so it's probably just going to ignore those anyway. So let's play, and it should stop on there eventually. Boom! All right, so our physics stuff is copying over. This is still running over here. So these are both running at the exact same time, right? So if I want, I like this idea because what I could do is I can play it in the scene here. You can actually pull this off and move it to a different screen. And you could play it in the scene and see things you don't like and change it live over here. And they won't affect each other until you stop the scene and replay it again. So if I actually go here, actually this is running. Let this guy fall. And I just make some more stuff here. These are all going to have the same. And if I go stop play, it does it all. It should stop here because it won't be able to fit through. Perfect. All right. Okay, so that's some of the stuff I've been working on in the background. I'm going to push this stuff today. I'm just trying to clean things up and make things nicer, make it work better. And we're going to start getting into different stuff coming very soon. But I have to do this like tidy stuff in the background where we're tidying up things or adding in little functions, or this series will just take forever. But so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave them below. Leave a comment below. And please also like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And take it easy.